Call to order, Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, City Council regular meeting. I need of the agenda.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Our first item is consideration of the minutes. Do you have any questions?
I have a couple comments here on October 13th, page 2 of 8. First couple lines, it says, Driscoll noted the report I have was put together by LOC. The most recent fee reports are not as specific, but I recall that you did say that Seaside was 3.5 in the franchise fee.
What page? So,
This is on 2 of 8.
About the third or fourth line down.
yeah, I mean, I do remember that. I believe Seaside is 3.5.
Yeah, so I just thought that should be included. And then I had a question on 3 of 8. And it's where Steve Sinkler is talking about the Zoom, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ninth line down. And I think you mean marketing instead of
The bar.
bargaining committee. So that was that. And then on October 20th, page 5 of 6. And on the top line there, well, it's a continuation. A discussion ensued regarding the paid parking by businesses to the city. In other words, it's the businesses who pay for actual kind of a virtual parking number to help pay for maintenance. But I just thought that needed more clarification.
Which paragraph is that in?
It's the first line of page 5 of 6.
Oh, okay.
And that's all.
Anybody else have?
I move to approve the minutes as corrected.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you for that. Now we will move to our public comment moment. Anybody in the audience? Have anybody listed for Zoom? So anybody in the audience have a presentation or a comment they'd like to make? 1, 2, 3, okay. We don't seem to have anybody. Okay, we're gonna move on to our first item. Budget Committee appointment. I believe we have a ballot ready. We have 2 gentlemen, looks like. Paul and Digny? Digny? You're welcome to make a statement if you wish. You have to.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Paul, just step up to our podium
Oh, okay.
for this, like, for.
I can do that. So I was looking for an opportunity to serve. And as I moved here from Portland about 1.5 years ago, and I saw that there was an opportunity on the Budget Committee, which fits right up my alley. I've been the CFO of a number of companies through my career, fortunate enough to be CFO of a high-tech business, entertainment business, music business, and a consumer products business. Right now, I'm I'm the CEO and CFO of a software company. And I thought it would fit perfectly for my skill set to be involved with the budget committee and be able to serve the community. So that's why I'm here, and I would love the opportunity to do that. So.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
The other person is Tim Rainey. I don't see him here. Tim, oh, there you are. Okay. Do you wish to make a statement?
Sure. So I think it was 40 years ago, maybe when I was like 22, my wife and I were here on a February day. And it was 70 degrees, and we said, this is a charming place. It must always be like this. And if we ever can, let's get a place here. And we bought our first property here about 30 years ago. We've owned 3 residential properties in Cannon Beach. And 2.5 years ago, this became our residence. We bought a home and relocated here. We have a business in Salem where we run a vineyard and a winery called Zenith Vineyard. I too thought about the opportunity to serve. I think I stopped in and talked to you, Mayor, a while back and said, you know, this is a community we love. We've been around a long time. We want to be able to give back in some way. And I have a long career in finance as well. I'm a chartered financial analyst. I was an analyst for years. I worked in mergers and acquisitions and did about $10 billion worth of deals in my time, and then I've been running a business in Salem for the last, I guess, 18 years now. So we're thrilled to be residents of Cannon Beach. We're thrilled to give to the community in any way we can, and see if I can opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we also have the Parks and Community Services Committee vacancy. And Stacy is reapplying for her position that she currently sits on.
Do I need to recuse myself?
That's come up before, hasn't it? I don't know.
So there's no, under the state conflicts of interest, there's no financial aspect to somebody that you are a relative serving on a board. So under state law, you don't have an official conflict of interest. If you choose not to vote, you know, for another reason, you can certainly do so.
Thank you.
If you do vote, you better vote the right way. Huh?
Yeah. Now to read it out loud. What am I going to do?
Might not have to go in tonight.
It's a big zero.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want me to do the budget committee first and then go to parks? Okay. So Nancy voted for Paul. Mike voted for Paul. Sam voted for Timothy Green. Robin voted for Paul. And Brandon voted for Paul. The vote was 4-1 for Paul. And then all members voted to reduce Stacy.
Thank you both for applying.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay tuned. There will be other positions, I'm sure, coming up.
Thanks to both of you.
Thank you. Yes. We'll be in touch on what to do and how to do it.
Thank you.
We need a motion to appoint those applicants that have applied.
Make a motion to appoint Paul Bidney to the Budget Committee and appoint Stacy Benefield to Parks and Community Services Committee.
Second, seconded. A roll call on this, please.
Okay, Council President Benefield,
Yes.
Councilor Risley,
Yes.
Councilor Ogilvy,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Mayor Stidell.
Yes. Okay, next item. Consideration of Parks Community Services Community Grant Recommendation. Bruce?
Yes, sir, thank you. Here, there's budget $90,000 for the Parks and Community Services Community Grant Program. And you have the results of that. There was 18 applicants, and you have the results of the recommendation from the committee. If there are any questions, Barb Knopp is here to, will try to answer, she will answer them for you. Yeah, she won't try.
No questions? Come on, I want to hear Barb. Hey, Barb.
She could give a recap of all of them.
Well, with that, we need a motion.
I'll move to adopt the fiscal year 2021 Community Grant Awards as presented.
Second?
Seconded. Discussion?
Councilor Risley,
Yes.
Councilor Ogilvy,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Council President Benefield,
Yes.
Mayor Stidell.
Yes. Well done, Barb.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hard work.
Okay.
Good program.
Consideration of adopting tourism and arts fund grants. Bruce?
Yes, sir. The Tourism and Arts Fund has met on several occasions to review the applications. They came up with a recommendation total of $261,835. And so this is presented at the information and the amounts and the consideration given by each of the board members is included in the materials. And we have Jim Kingwell here, who is the chair of that committee, if you have any questions. Or Jim, would you like to say anything?
This is Jim in my capacity as current chairman of the CAC committee. Just 3 reminders on perspectives. We had a request for events whose feasibility hinged on COVID-19 guidelines. We looked at this, we made recommendations to allow for planning and the completion with the perspective that the events unable to occur will return funding to our reserve. And keep in mind that recurring events generate plenty of expenses prior to the availability of funding by the organizations. So we kept an eye on trying to sustain the institutional elements of what we think benefits the culture of Cannon Beach. If these events are unable to occur, then we will see a return of these funds. But we wanted to enable the applicants to go forward with their planning as far as feasible.
Jim, one that kind of looked interesting. Can you explain the Union Not Beauty?
Just barely.
Okay.
It is during the Women's Only Weekend event, something that has generated some energy in the past. Some of our discussions weighed on how much this was a business investment development and how much actually might relate to arts in particular. Although this summer, the American Craft magazine did have their beauty issue that focused on essentially beauty events, everything from the components being mined and derived and processed for beauty products. The committee generally found it an interesting thing. We questioned whether or not it was appropriate. we wanted to see how this developed with the bringing in of some outside talent, particularly some Las Vegas talent that was going to come for that event. We think it might have some potential in generating an event that could in fact even involve a fashion show that's not happening with Stormy Weather Arts Festival.
Yeah.
So we are a little puzzled ourselves, but we want to see what the planning develops and make a judgment based on how well it actually fit the parameters when we see the further planning.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jen.
I was just glad to see that Get Lit had such a positive response.
Well,
That was wonderful.
partly because Get Lit has overcome some obstacles in the past. They've shown an adaptability, and we love the fact that they're there. Just an odd aside, the average investment for European Union countries is 1% of their gross budget for cultural events. The average for the US is about 0.7% in all cultural development. That's according to the Economist last issue. Was an odd tidbit, but I'm full of trivia.
Thanks for that, Jim.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, I did recognize Jim Kingwell, but I also want to point out that Julie Walker, who's the vice chair, is also here.
On the committee, and I understood that you did not think. Why are you going to get their hair braided?
Ah.
Bunch of boys.
And that is, in fact, it does involve an industry that has specifically adapted to COVID requirements.
Because it had to.
It had to, yeah.
Well, and I know your discussion, because I listened to the last one, your discussion talked about how the women actually are the ones in the family that spend the money and determine where the money's going to go. So.
Particularly on vacation.
Mhm.
Been my experience.
Okay, then. So the action here.
I move to adopt the fiscal year 2021 Tourism and Arts Fund Grant Awards as presented.
Seconded.
Okay. Jennifer?
Counselor Ogilvy,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Council President Benefield,
Yes.
Counselor Whitley,
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item, consideration to approve a one-time change to the employment handbook by adding an extra holiday.
Yes, sir. Several of you had contacted me and asked if there was something we could do to recognize the employees for work that they've done during COVID. And frankly, they've been extremely inventive and creative and trying to resolve things. So if you saw, the COLA was not included in the budget. They requested, said that we will forego that this year. We know what's going on, but it was suggested that, let me see, December 31st, which is New Year's Eve, is a very slow day. And if we could possibly go ahead and allow that as a holiday, that would give 2 4-day weekends in a row for folks who've been working very hard all year. And I appreciate your consideration. And what you're voting on is, because this would go into the handbook, you're voting on including this one time in the handbook. And you have responsibility for approving the handbook or the contents. Any other questions?
Well deserved.
Yes, our gratitude towards the staff.
Yeah, thank you, and they appreciate your leadership, and it's all good.
And we need a motion.
I move to approve the one-time granting of a holiday on December 31, 2020 as a gesture of support of the staff.
Second.
Okay. Jennifer?
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Council President Benefield,
Yes.
Counselor Risley,
Yes.
Councilor Ogilvy,
Yes.
Mayor Sedell.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Boy, that's a whole other page here. And we're kind of, anybody have any? Good.
The aliens.
Oh, it's a phone.
You hear a noise like that, everybody looks at Rusty.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's like,
Rusty probably knows.
I had one question. On page 2, it's talking about the community director and public works director had a conversation with Greenwood Resources representatives to discuss the Colo watershed area and possible annexations. Can you explain that, Bruce?
Yeah, we had heard that there was property on the east side that was being considered for annexation. Nobody's approached the city, but they had talked to, let me see, the fire department. And so because Greenwood was the original owner, and that, who was the other person that was mentioned? Or there was just one, we talked to Greenwood.
Yeah, it says Greenwood.
But anyway, the information that we got was a little bit off kilter. And there's only one property that's even considering coming in. The other property they did not sell. So that was what that discussion was about, to try to follow up to see what transactions had occurred. Because we were unsure what properties, so we contacted them and said, have you sold anything recently? And it was not the case. That was the discussion.
So the discussion is whether we have water for annexation of that property? Means?
It's interesting that you asked that because we never have known what our capacity is.
Correct.
And we just got, I've not had a chance to read it, but we have gotten an engineer's report back on what our capacity could be. But that was done in anticipation of anything else that might occur, including, possibility of annexation, anything, even looking at how many people we can serve, at any time during the summer or whatever. So we really didn't know that number. So now we have that. And again, we've not been approached at all about any annexations. And the two that were originally mentioned, only one of them might even be a possible candidate. But again, no contact with the city at all.
Okay.
Do you have anything else for the monthly status report? I have one little kudos for the water team. They proactively discovered that my parents had the outdoor faucet still on through the meter. And Ashley went and helped them turn it off. So I don't know who that was.
The level of personal service like that we deliver is amazing. True.
It's wonderful.
Any councilor communications?
Yeah, I want to mention that I did talk with Chief Rickman about, he came over to my office and talked for about a half hour about the different things they're doing and how they want to work together with I know he's been touching base with all of the counselors, but I thought it was a very nice conversation and I learned a lot. And then Rick had asked counselors to come and listen to his presentation on emergency processing presentations. So I did go to that and I thought I learned a lot there too.
I have to say that Rick is exceeding all my expectations for the
Oh, yes.
things that he's getting involved with. We're looking at a possible agreement with, and I forgot the name, Sam, but it's the ham operators.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's the ham operators and they have the potential to do all kinds of stuff for us. They're actually trying to bring in internet, via those airways. And Rick has been working with them and it's like, we'll do some stuff for you, but we need some help on equipment. So that may be on the workshop agenda on the 10th.
Wonderful.
But we have had trouble, and Sam can attest, with radios. especially for CERT and all that. And we have successfully figured out how to work with KMUN. And we have a location, and it seems to be able to serve and work for the ham operators and for our CERT system. And so that was something that, we had kind of given up on, but persistence pays off. And so we're going to be much better off than we've ever been. And that's just people working at it. We appreciate Sam's help on all this stuff too.
I'll add to that, the CERT team has been practicing the wayfinding, and I've managed to make one. We went from the harbor, and took us a little longer than I expected. But most of us were kind of chatting as we went. Usually is evacuation, but the team will be expanding that to public soon. Rick is really gung ho on that one. And we've been testing our radios, which is the CMSR, GRSM, whatever, which are working for the CERT team. For what we need to do, they're going to work great. So yes, that's all working. And if you ever want to jump into one of the wayfinding walks, please do.
Yeah. As a result of these conversations and looking at what we have and what we really need, Rusty and Rick have looked at what our billing is up at for cable and everything up at Public Works Yard, and just cut it tremendously. Just saying, we don't need that. Why are we paying for this? We've just been repeatedly paying these bills. So, and it's a part of this. We're also saving money.
Right.
Okay.
I have one. This is a topic that comes up pretty frequently with coffee with the counselors, and that's the putting more receptacles, garbage receptacles in the city, especially on Washington Street.
Yes.
What's the progress on that?
I still have to talk to Ken. The delay is on me. We just haven't gotten to it.
Okay.
I think we'll be looking at a different approach by the spring as far as how we do that, because clearly the load is up, capacity hasn't changed. We can do that by having more frequent pickups, possibly additional containers or something. So we recognize that things have changed and we need to adapt to that. But I think that Washington will be an obvious place for those to come in.
Okay. Keep us posted, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Just one thing to try and keep me on track. I know we have a meeting tomorrow. Do we have any more for the month of November?
Okay, so do you want a quick overview?
Yes, please.
So tomorrow we have the executive session at 4:45. And then the work session regarding Cannon Beach Elementary at 5:30. Then next week, we will have the work session with the budget committee next Tuesday at 4:30. And then we'll have our regular work session on the 10th at 5:30. And then you have one more meeting. Oh, no, then we have the work session on the 12th for Cannon Beach Elementary School, and that's at 5:30. And then you have an executive session on the 18th at 5:30.
Okay.
I'll send an email too tomorrow, just a quick update of all of them.
Are you glad you asked?
That's the last time he's gonna ask.
No, I don't have an excuse.
I can also do calendar invites if you guys find that helpful, because then you can get a reminder to.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay.
Also, we have regarding the retreat, Jennifer gave me this, that Tolavana Hall is available. However, this is a public meeting and we now have our communication system. So the question is, do we want to do it here on Zoom or at Tolavana like we did it last year?
And I told them we had no capacity to even try that. There's no wireless.
Probably here, don't you think? So people could listen in if they want.
Yeah, we can't, how many can we have in Philavana Hall at one time?
Probably 4.
Yeah, really. The limit indoors is 25. We've not checked to see in maintaining social distance and all that. We really have never, in my experience, since I've been here, we really haven't had a crowd other than maybe one. Yeah. Yeah.
Dan,
But anyway, so that's something that it might be better if we can communicate this way, because I don't think people are necessarily going to come out for that. But it's just something you need to know that we can't do what we're doing now if we go there. Happy to go there if you want.
I guess in light of that, I'd do it here.
Here?
Guess
I
so.
kind of like getting away, but I understand the limits.
Yeah, okay.
Can't we just do it from home and zoom in or something? Kind of fun.
Good.
Okay, if that was determined to do it here, the dates the retreat is scheduled, the chambers is not available.
Okay.
Okay.
The Parks meeting, the Public Works Committee has the meeting here on Tuesday, and the Parks Committee has the meeting here on that Thursday. So if we want to move it here, we're gonna have to pick new dates, or do it in the afternoon on the same days. Because both committee meetings at 9 are at 9 a.m.
What time did we say we were going to have ours?
We scheduled it from 9 to 1.
9 to 1.
So if you want to keep the same days, we would probably need to do it in the afternoon while we look at other options.
The following week is available in the morning, isn't it, Jen?
The following week is Thanksgiving week, and so maybe you guys wanted to do Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday.
No, not Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Don't ask me to do that.
Is our retreat in November? I thought it was December.
Yeah, so did I.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was December 10th or something.
God, I hope it is.
December 15, 17 is what we had.
No, it's
Yeah, yeah.
18th and 17th.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I printed out a November calendar, but I'm in December on here. Okay, so the 15th and 17th is Public Works Committee and Parks Committee. The following week is, instead of Thanksgiving, it's Christmas week.
Right.
So,
Oh, yeah, let's do it then. Oh,
Why don't we do it in the afternoon then? Is that going to work for everybody?
I'm fine with that.
Pardon?
I'm fine with that.
okay, do you guys want to start at 1, or what's your thoughts?
yeah, that'd be all right.
They're usually done by 11. So you could start as early as then. They're actually, Karen's doing a great job keeping everybody on schedule. So it's actually been a little earlier, but you could probably start at 11 if you wished.
Doesn't make any difference.
That'd work, I guess.
So 11?
Up to you. Yeah, I mean, that's an offer.
I just
Sure.
don't want to push them.
No, I don't think we'll be pushing them. That'll be enough time.
Okay, which day, 15th or the 17th?
We're doing both.
Both days.
Doing both.
Both days, okay. There you go.
15th and 17th, and we're starting at 11 a.m.
I have one more question about that. Chief Reckman had asked to attend because I think that there was a comment that y'all would consider, or at least talk about the food and beverage tax possibility at the retreat. And so for that part, he would like to be there. So I just want to make sure to give you all a heads up on that, because normally we don't have guests. But if that's all right, or else we could have him, ask him to come another time.
Does he want to speak or does he just want to
He
observe?
wants to be at the table with y'all talking about, make sure you understand what he's looking at and what their board is looking at.
And we've done that before, actually, so.
Yeah, I'm saying-
Different departments, so.
Yeah.
Once we get the agenda hammered out, we would be able to give them a time.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. It could also be on Zoom if you wanted.
Hmm.
Okay. So, we got that hammered out? Any last thing for good of the order? Right. Okay, then. I don't have my hammer. We are adjourned.
All right, thanks.